Hello, so welcome to yoga, no knees required. So this video is especially made for a dear friend who is healing a fractured patella, but it can be useful for anyone who is not interested on getting on their knees. So we're going to start off in mountain, shoulders back and down, big exhale, our feet are grounded. So imagine we are lifting from our waist up, crown of the head reaching to the sky, and we're nice and grounded from the waist down, feet firmly planted, a gentle bend in our knees, a little lift in our pelvic floor, the belly gently drawn in. See if we can find the weight evenly distributed in our feet. So maybe, just to check it out, we shift forward and find weight more into the balls of our feet. And we shift back and find weight in our heels. And we shift to one side and the other. Maybe we find intentionally weight toward our pinky toes and weight toward our big toes. And then we find that middle. Take another big breath in and long, slow breath out. And now we'll move to that yogic breath in and out through the nose. And if it's comfortable while we're standing here in our mountain, we can allow the eyes to close for a moment or two. If we feel unsteady or dizzy, just keeping the eyes open and finding a focus, something on a diagonal down and away from us. And while we're standing here in our mountain in our best posture, let's just see if we could soften the muscles in our face. Relaxing our shoulders down away from our ears. And if our eyes were closed, we can open them. We're going to circle the arms overhead. And exhale, bring them down by our sides. We'll try that a few times. Inhale up, exhale down. One more arm circle. And now we're going to sink into our chair pose. We'll bring hands to our heart, push our bottom back, find weight in our heels. We could even wiggle our toes for a moment. And we find that place where our knees are happy, less or more of a bend in the knees, depending on how comfortable our knees are and what kind of a challenge we would like. So if it's comfortable on the knees, we could go as low as thigh bones parallel to the ground. And even just a tiny bend is still a chair pose. So we could be nice and tall with just barely a bend in the knees. So let's flow a little bit. Inhaling up, exhaling to mountain, inhaling up, exhaling to chair. A few times. Each time finding weight in our heels as we sink into our chair pose. Just warming up a little. One more time in mountain and chair. This time we're going to meet in our chair pose and hang out here for a few breaths. And then we'll see how it feels to lift the heels away from the floor just a tiny bit into our balancing chair. So we're bringing weight into the balls of our feet. Maybe right there is enough. If we'd like to bring it up a little higher, we can see how that feels. We're breathing. And when we're ready, meeting back in our mountain. Let's try that whole thing another time. Inhaling up, exhaling to mountain. Inhaling up, exhaling to chair. Holding for a few breaths. Moving into our balance. So finding that drishti or that downward gaze is helpful in our balance poses. And we'll meet again in our mountain. And one more time, inhaling up, exhaling to mountain. Inhaling up, exhaling to chair. Holding for a few breaths, and when we're ready, shifting our weight off of the heels into our balance. And we'll meet back in our mountain. We're going to step our right foot back into our high lunge. So hips, knees, toes, all facing the short edge of the mat. And we'll start with hands at our heart. See how it feels to raise the arms overhead. And then come into our goalpost. Then we're going to shift forward into our balance pose, a tripod balance. So fingertips are going to come to the floor. The back leg extends behind us. We'll pull those toes toward the shin. And just holding here for a few breaths. If the floor feels a little far away, we can grab a hold of some blocks for next time. So I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. We're going to lower that back foot, come back to our high lunge. Grab some blocks. And we'll step our back foot forward. So now stepping our left foot back in our high lunge, starting with hands at our heart. Finding length in that back leg, drawing the belly in a little bit, and feeling the breath flowing in and out through our nose. Hands could stay at the heart, or we can change the arms, extending them overhead and into our goalpost. So shoulders are soft and elbows are actively reaching away from each other. And now we're going to tip forward into our tripod balance. We can use blocks if we'd like. So resisting the urge to lift that hip and see if we can keep them squared. You're going to feel a lot of work in that outer hip of the grounded leg. Really reaching with the heel of the back extended leg. And we'll meet again in our mountain. We're going to step that right foot back another time for our high lunge, choosing again any one of those options with the arms, hands to the heart, overhead, or a goalpost. Shoulders are soft, down away from our ears. We think about being broad across the collarbones. We're not crunched in here, whether our arms are up or at our heart. Collarbones are long and broad. This time when we shift our weight to our front foot, we're going to have the option of doing a standing split. It doesn't have to be an actual split. But we're going to bring our chest a little closer to that front leg, with or without the blocks. And now we're going to have the option of either holding here or moving into a single leg squat. So if we'd like to get a little strengthening in, we're going to inhale, bend, exhale, extend. And when we're ready for a break, we're going to take one in our low lunge. So fingertips either on the floor or on blocks. If we have any discomfort in the hip, especially that front hip with this much flexion, the higher we are on the blocks, the less pressure we're going to have on that hip. So we find length in the back leg. Feel that breath flowing in and out through the nose. We're going to add a little twist. So we're going to bring left hand to the left hip, top shoulder over bottom shoulder, with the option of extending the arm. We can come out of that twist. We're going to step the front foot back into our down dog. And remember, this is no knees today, but we're going to get some strengthening in. We're almost going to bring our knees to the ground into a puppy, but our knees do not quite touch. So we're lowering down and coming back to down dog. Inhale and exhale. Think about keeping that belly pulled in. One more time, inhale to puppy, exhale to down dog, and we can walk or jump our feet forward. We're going to meet in our forward fold. Hands are touching down either to the floor or to the blocks. Let's nod our head yes. And shake our head no. So just releasing any tension from the neck and face. We'll bring hands to our shins into monkey, let the blood pressure adjust, extending the crown of the head away from us. Pull the belly in. And we'll take a deeper knee bend, reverse our swan dive up, and exhale to mountain. So we're halfway done that little sequence. So this time we're going to inhale arms up and exhale to chair. We'll bring our feet all the way together, preparing for chair with a twist. So inhale, lengthening the spine, exhale, twisting just from the rib cage. Come back to our mountain, bring our feet hip width apart, and step our left foot back into our high lunge, taking any one of those three options with our arms. Then we're going to shift our weight to our front foot for that standing split, hands at the blocks or the floor. We'll bring our chest a little closer to that front thigh. We can hold steady or we can do those single leg squats. Inhaling to bend. Exhaling to extend. When you're ready for a break, you'll take one in that low lunge, hands framing that front foot, either fingertips on the ground or on the blocks. Remember using the blocks to get a little less pressure into that front hip. Finding length in that back leg, reaching forward with the chest. And moving into that twist, we're going to bring right hand to the right hip, top shoulder over bottom shoulder, extending the arm if we'd like, and keeping length in that back leg. We'll come out of that twist, step our back foot forward. We'll take a deep knee bend, reverse our swan dive, inhaling up and exhaling to mountain. Let's just connect in our mountain for a bit. Just like we did at the beginning, our feet are fully grounded. Maybe we can shift the position forward and back, left and right. We find a little lift in the pelvic floor, the belly gently drawn in. Reaching the crown of the head toward the sky, shoulders back and down, palms facing forward. Stepping our left foot back this time into our high lunge with length in the back leg, choosing any one of the arm options. Shoulders are relaxed. And when we're ready, we can shift weight into that front leg. Hands can be on the floor or the blocks, and we'll move into our standing split, chest a little closer to that front thigh, and a few single leg squats if we'd like. So we want to find that just right challenge. Not too hard, not too easy. We're going to meet in our low lunge, using blocks to take pressure out of that front hip, or fingertips can go on the ground. You choose, and choose the appropriate height for the blocks that keeps that hip happy. And moving into our twist, we'll bring right hand to right hip, top shoulder over bottom shoulder, and extend the arm overhead if we'd like. We'll come out of that twist, bring our back foot forward. We're meeting again in our forward fold. We'll take a deep knee bend, reverse our swan dive up, and exhale to our mountain. So we're going to check in with our mountain just like we did at the beginning. Maybe adjust the position of our feet until we find the weight evenly distributed. We'll take that micro bend in the knees, a little lift in our pelvic floor, our belly gently drawn in, and lifting for the sky with the crown of our head, shoulders actively back and down, fingertips reaching for the floor. Our palms are facing forward. Eyes could be opened or closed. You choose. Now let's take our right foot back, again into that high lunge. This time we're going to have the option to add a chest expansion here. So if we feel nice and secure, then we're going to pull our shoulder blades together and down. Imagine we're squeezing a beach ball behind us, and we lift in our heart. If we feel a little unsteady, then we can just do that in our mountain. So we'll come out of that chest expansion, and we're going to move into our pyramid stretch. So we're going to straighten that front knee and hinge forward, belly coming toward that front thigh. Again, using blocks if we'd like. We could be on fingertips or fists. Think about sinking the hip of the front leg back. So our left leg is forward, so sinking our left hip back until we feel the length in the back of that front leg that again feels just right. Not too much, just enough. We'll take that back foot forward into our forward fold. Take a deep knee bend, reverse our swan dive up, and exhale to mountain. Stepping our left foot back. We have the option of moving into our chest expansion here, or we could do that in mountain as well. So shoulders come back and down, palms facing in. Little lift in our heart. Belly is engaged. Our breath is flowing. Careful that our chin hasn't gone forward. We want to keep our ears floating over the shoulders. Try to give ourselves a little double chin so we find length in the neck through the cervical spine. We're going to release that chest expansion and prepare for our pyramid stretch. So hips, knees, toes facing forward. We're going to hinge at the hips, bring the belly closer to that front thigh. Find that just right challenge, fingers on the floor or on any level of the blocks. With our right leg forward, we're going to sink our right hip back until we feel the right amount of length and stretching in that front leg. And we're going to step that back foot forward. Now, if you're not getting on your knees, you're protecting a healing patella, you're going to get down to the floor the best way you know how. So maybe we're just going to drop our butt. And we're going to meet in our boat pose. So our shoulders come back and down, the belly pulls in. And we're going to lean back until we feel it get a little bit harder in the belly, a little bit harder to hold ourselves up. And we choose the option again to find that just right challenge. Hands could be behind the thighs, they could be out to the sides, palms up. We could have our feet grounded or 1 or 2 feet off the floor. But most importantly, our breath continues to flow and we keep that belly pulled in. So we take breaks as we need them. You may hear happy children playing in the background because there's no school today and there's snow. So that's all good. When we're ready for a break from boat, we're just going to give our legs a hug. And we're going to extend one leg. We'll grasp behind the other. And we're going to roll down, preparing ourselves for a reclined pigeon, a nice little hip stretch. Do I have enough room? Here we go. Scooting up. So we bend our knees, bring our feet to the ground, and walk our shoulders down away from our ears. Big breath in and long, slow breath out. We'll extend one leg. Let's do our right and flex our foot, toes coming toward our shin. We're going to let that ankle fall over the other side of the opposite thigh. Now, if we feel a stretch here, this is where we stay. If we'd like a little bit more stretch in that outer hip, we can grasp behind our left leg, bring that left foot off the ground. But we keep that foot flexed to protect the knee. We'll come out of that stretch, do the same thing on the other side. Extend the heel to the sky, cross the ankle over the opposite thigh. Hang out here or reach behind the thigh of the right leg, keeping the left foot flexed. So allow the eyes to close if that's comfortable. And feel the breath slowing down. We'll return that foot to the floor and uncross the legs. If you have some more stretches you would like to do, go right ahead. Meet me in Shavasana for a meditation when you're ready. For now, I'm going to go ahead and move into my Shavasana with legs extended, feet relaxed. Got to move those blocks. Big, long, slow exhale. So like you're blowing out candles on your birthday cake or exhaling through a straw. Trying to kick in that part of the nervous system that allows us to rest and digest and heal. So with that long, slow exhale, we can shift into the parasympathetic nervous system and allow ourselves to rest, digest, and heal. So let's hang out there for a bit. If the eyes are comfortable closing, go ahead and allow the eyelids to gently close. Maybe we notice the gentle rise and fall of the belly. And for the next minute or so, let's just keep our attention on that rise and fall of the belly. With the inhale and exhale. And if you're ready to come out of your Shavasana, you could start by wiggling fingers and toes, perhaps bending the knees as you prepare to roll yourself to your side. You If you want to stay here a little longer, there's no hurry. Turn this into a meditation. Hang out for another 10 or 20 minutes. If you're ready to be done, we can push up. We'll meet in a comfortable seated position. And with length in our spine, we'll inhale, arms overhead. Thanks for joining me.